trading isn't as simple as some things in life, like lifting, where a simple input equals a simple output without really having to think about it.
The number one thing holding most traders back, probably you included, is how you go about improving your skill and the illusion that you're working hard, when in reality, you're not. Unless you're truly doing deep work in regard to your trading, all the work that you're doing is entirely useless no matter how hard you think you're working.
And deep work is the topic of today. We're going to go into what really classifies as true deep work and how to avoid some zero sum activities. So, the first order of business is what are zero sum activities? And to be as blatant as possible, it's just something where you're doing an activity, so it may feel good. You may think that you're working, but does it really give a benefit? Is there anything out of it? And the answer to that is no. So some examples of that would be just mindlessly watching some trading YouTube videos on psychology and thinking, this is going to prepare me for tomorrow.
But why are you consuming that content? What is that content doing for you? How is that content changing your trading? Is that content changing your trading? Probably not.
No, probably not.
Are you just watching it aimlessly because I should watch trading psychology videos because I got to work on my psychology around trading, so I'm going to watch these videos because that's what I'm supposed to do. Are you getting anything out of those videos? Are you simultaneously scrolling on TikTok on your phone while you're watching those videos? I don't know what you're doing. Do you know what you're doing?
And the kind of tough thing is it feels good. It feels good to watch that, that motivational video where you feel better coming out of it. Like, yes, that's what I needed to hear. This is gonna change my trading. But then nothing really changes.
Well, yeah, I watched 4 hours of trading content yesterday, so now I'm gonna be successful. Before, I was failing, I was losing consistently, repeatedly, but now I watched 4 hours of trading psychology. Keep in mind that I've already watched hundreds of hours of trading psychology videos, but these 4 that I just watched, this is what's going to change it for me. This is what's really going to make the difference. Is these 4 hours that I just watched yesterday. I'm telling you, man.
Yeah, and you watched that Daniel Savage motivation video, and it just got you hyped, and you're ready to go for the week. But
psychology reset, baby. Here we go.
And at the end of the day, it's just all about a distraction, really. It distracts you from the true hard work, because true hard work is uncomfortable. And this even applies to listening to a trading podcast, listening or reading to a book. I mean, are these things really helping you at the end of the day, or is it just more knowledge that you don't really need, or information overload?
Are you doing anything with the content you're consuming, or are you just consuming content? How much content are you consuming? How much of that content can you process? Because at the end of the day, you're only going to process so much of that. Realistically, we only retain like 20% of the stuff that we hear. So, cool, you watched 100 hours of trading psychology. Maybe you got 20 hours of stuff that you remember. Are you doing anything with those 20 hours of stuff that you remember, or is it just stuff that you consumed and now it's just kind of floating around in your head? Have you applied it to anything? Have you changed anything in your trading? Or are you just watching the content? What is deep work? What do we got to do to actually accomplish deep work?
So the next order of business would be we just got to get down to the root of what perfecting your edge and deep work really looks like. So do you even have an edge? If you don't, then you should go find one. I mean,
that's step one of your deep work.
Step one is go find an edge to perfect. That's not what this video is about. I'm sure you can find it. You better have one, whatever. But we're going to dive into a little bit of what real activities can count as deep work instead of watching content, whatever. But the first one is going to be forward testing, which is obvious, right? You're not going to get better if you're not practicing doing the actual thing. So it's not just showing up and degenning on some challenges or trading without a plan, trading without an edge. you need to treat every single day as essentially like a deep work session. You're working out your problems in your trading. You're working towards a better future in trading every single time you sit down at your desk. So that's how you should think about forward testing. But that's the number one of the deep work pillars.
So I shouldn't be YOLO trading on hopes and prayers.
No,
You mean I should actually be analyzing my trades
exactly.
every day when I forward test?
Exactly.
Oh no, this is terrible news.
For sure. Um, but the next one would be back testing. So, and that includes anything with historical data. We talk a lot about recording your sessions, recording your trades. That can even be clicking through candles, even just looking at charts back in time. That is real data that will help you and will benefit your edge if you treat it seriously. And when I say treat it seriously, you have to be doing it mindfully, right?
Right. You have to apply that data as well. You can't just look at it, go, wow, look at that big move, that big 150-point move. That looks good. I want to be in on that move. Okay, well, how do you get in on that move? That's what you need to be looking at when you're looking at this historical data. Look at where the type of moves are that you want to get into, and how can I get into those moves using my edge, because we established that, right? That was step one, is you have to have an edge. So now that you have an edge, how do I use that edge to get into the trades that I like?
For sure. And it doesn't count, clicking through candles, whatever. Like you said, looking at a random trade and being like, oh, that's cool. This is where my entry would have been on that. No, it takes deep, thoughtful work. It's the hard stuff that is going to end up making you better in this game, just like anything.
Yeah, it's not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's not easy. If you think it's easy, you should probably give up now before you get the harsh realization that it's not easy, because you'll find out the hard way if you don't find out the easy way, which means losing money. There's plenty of money to be lost in this. There's also plenty of money to be made in this, but you have to actually apply yourself.
For sure. And our last pillar would be data collection. So this ties in obviously with forward testing and back testing, but probably the number one thing that people mess up on and fail to do, because it's honestly hard. It is hard to every single day, even on the tough days, go through and journal your trades, track that data, understand that data, and study that data.
And realistically, those worst days that are the hardest to collect the data on, the hardest to look back at, those are going to be the most beneficial to look back at and learn from, because really the best way to get better at trading is to get better at losing. And when I say get better at losing, that means losing less often, less money, lose less. That's how you get better at trading, because you're going to lose. Notice how I didn't say get rid of your losses, because it's not going to happen. That's a completely unrealistic goal. You just have to get better at losing, whether it's less frequent or less money. You have to lose less. So you have to look at those days that are hard to look at. And it's not going to be enjoyable. You might be like, what was I doing? What was I thinking? What kind of idiot takes a trade like that? And it might not be easy to look at, but you have to, because you have to learn, okay, why did I do that? Why did I enter that? If you didn't collect the data, how are you ever going to look back? How are you going to learn?
Yeah,
you're not.
You never will learn. And it's not only about the trading aspect as well. It can be hard to sit there and journal your emotions, your thoughts, whatever your thought process is in the trading day. It's not as simple as just taking a picture of your trade and putting it in your journal. And it's not only the collection of it, but like we alluded to, it's the studying of it. It's the actual fixing of the problems. So the main things, guys, it's just stay focused in your forward testing. Actually back test a true edge, an outlined edge, and then it's the collection of that data, and all it is just repeating those three pillars over and over and over again.
Yeah. Every time you're doing something related to trading, whether it's learning from a YouTube video or looking at your previous trades or forward testing in the market, I want you to ask yourself, how is this improving my trading? Is this improving my trading? If you don't know, or if the answer is no, stop. Stop doing what you're doing. everything that you should be doing related to trading should be done with a purpose. You should know how this is going to affect your trading. Otherwise, what's the point of doing it?
For sure. And track that so you know if it's actually affecting your trading. If you're stuck in the same loops for months and maybe even years and you still can't solve specific problems or specific things or even perfect and hone an edge, then you're doing something wrong. It's as simple as that. So you gotta change up your approach. But the final order is really just focus. To see these results, you have to just set aside time and perform these actions to the best of your ability. Devote all of your energy into improving during that time. It's not just as simple as, okay, well, I'm going to go back test for a little bit while I sit on the phone with one of my buddies or I got YouTube in the background. The best performers in the world, imagine being a doctor and you're studying your craft of whatever surgery.
You're a neurosurgeon.
Yeah.
Do you want your neurosurgeon, maybe during class your neurosurgeon was just chilling there, scrolling TikTok, texting his homies.
He's probably not going to make it through med school. So
probably not.
Yeah.
And if he does, do you want him operating on your brain?
So if you want to make this work, you got to treat it like a serious ass job.
That's what it is at the end of the day. This is, if you want trading to be a successful business, treat it like a successful business. People don't show up to a successful business that they've created and just, I'm just here. I don't know why I'm here. I'm here because I am. If that's why you're there watching trading videos, because that's what you're supposed to do, you don't really know why. You're not really honing your craft.
Because you're bored.
Well, yeah, it's fun, man. It's a good time,
For sure.
You're doing it all wrong.
But, guys, you got to remember that you are in a zero-sum game. And in that zero-sum game, only the best man, the best institution, and the best algorithm is really going to win at the end of the day. So if you think that watching those YouTube videos, reading a psychology book, if you think that that is going to give you the edge to beat the market, go ahead and do it. But at the end of the day, it's probably not likely. You got to think on the other end of your trade, it's an extremely experienced prop trader that has years in the market, spends all of his extra free time and energy into honing his craft. And that's who you have to beat every day. So
He's actually doing the work.
Exactly.
You're just showing up.
So if you think about it that way, you'll be in a much better position. But you can't think that this random stuff is going to help you out, because it's just going to keep you in a terrible loop forever. So get to work, build an edge, work every day, and you will become the best trader you can be through deep work.
That's it. Get to work, everybody. I got nothing else for you other than
We got to
get to work.
We got to get back to work. So we will see y'all in the next one.
You guys have fun. We will too.